Hello everybody, and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into r/neckbeard stories, because the story time format videos, I feel like I can have some fun making those. Those are just nice little bits for me to do. If you guys want to see more videos like these, and just be all around generally just amazing, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, something you want to see in the future, and if you have not already, subscribe and turn on those notifications. Let's get into this. Okie dokie, let's go. Our first story comes to us from username American Grizzly 1776. Realizing my neckbeard friend was kind of a jerk. Some background, I'm not very good at writing, so bear with me. Edit, to clarify his neckbeard traits, he was overweight, a big weeb, lived at home with his mom, worked part-time at an amusement park, college dropout for graphic design, and is also obsessed with Japanese culture to the point it's creepy. Despite openly admitting to me he wanted to go to Japan for anime and video games and nothing else. I met this guy on a Ruby subreddit a long time ago, before I deleted that Reddit account. Eventually, it got to the point where we added each other on Facebook, which turned out to be a huge mistake. But at the time, I was like, cool, new friends who are into the same thing I am. Well, at first when we added each other, it was normal. We talked about the show and how much we liked it, but eventually things started to get a bit weirder. He would start to send me off-brand in our private messages, and I'm not really fond of those sites since I realized the addiction is a very sad thing to go through in life, and I would ask him to stop sending it to me, but he would always try to justify it. But honestly, it was just gross. Now that was just one thing, but I also noticed every week he would send me a news article about something crazy happening and freaking out about it. For example, when Soleimani was killed, he literally sent me a voice message on Facebook freaking out saying, "Oh my god, we are going to war." I was active duty at the time, and I wasn't hearing anything about a deployment or mobilization, so I wasn't worried. But he's freaking out, thinking there's gonna be another draft, and that he's going to go to war. And I'm just like, dude, calm down, we got nothing to worry about. I thought it was weird, but I let it go. But then I noticed we would occasionally be talking about something related to Ruby, but he would interrupt with something out of the blue, like, "Hey, are you deploying? Because if you die over there, I'm kicking your butt in the afterlife." Now, I just let this go, but then it kept going on. One time, I sent a video of me flying in a Black Hawk during a training exercise. I didn't think much of it, and thought he would find it cool. Instead, he sends me a paragraph upon paragraph freaking out saying, "What the F, you deployed? Why the heck didn't you tell me? What is wrong with you?" After he had finished his rant, I was like, this is a training exercise. His response, "Oh, okay." Now, I don't like to consider myself a dumb person, but I am shocked I wasn't smart enough to think, this guy is quick to anger. Maybe I shouldn't talk to him? But I didn't think that, because I just figured, he's just being odd. Then, about a few months ago, whenever Dogecoin was getting popular, he messages me and says, "Bro, you need to invest in this." Now, I know Doge made a lot of money, but I didn't want to invest in it because it was a meme, and because I had just paid off my student loans, and I needed to seriously start saving money so I could finally get a house. So I refused. Then, a month or so later, when it started going up, he sends me a message bragging about how he's going to be a millionaire in a few years, and that I should have hopped on. Again, I wasn't going to invest in it. I'm not completely against cryptocurrency, but I'm skeptical. Now, all this doesn't seem bad, but it was what happened recently, and it had its two events. First off, I've been out in the military for the past year. I left in the beginning of 2021, and I've been working a civilian job as a carpenter. I've been enjoying it, and haven't thought about the army. Until he messaged me, "Hey, are you getting recalled? Because we may have to go fight ISIS." Now, my first reaction was, we? Who is we? I messaged him that because he never served, and he refused to. And then he goes off on the rant saying, "Oh my god, I'm gonna get drafted. We're going to war." And I realized it's the exact same rant from a year ago, so when Soleimani was killed in an airstrike, I even checked, and he was literally doing the same scenario all over again. Now, that scenario was enough to make me think, seems like we talk less and less about Ruby and hobbies these days, and most of our conversations is me trying to be the rational one while he goes off on crazy rants. But then the final kicker was this. He sends me a message asking for money, $500. It turns out that he went broke investing in Doge, because he literally invested all of his money into it, didn't keep anything or outside of it, and when it dropped, he sold it and basically was left with $3 to his name. Now, at first, I thought he needed money for rent. No, turns out he was taking a girl on a date and needed the money since he had put them in an expensive hotel. Now, at the point, I was like, wait a minute, you're nearly broke, but you can afford to do all that on a date? Something isn't adding up. And for once, I actually started to think about it. The friendship was really one-sided, and we hadn't even talked about fun stuff for months. Nearly every single conversation was him freaking out over every single thing on the news, and me having to say, nah bro, it ain't like that. And that combined with him asking for money, I started to realize my friend was actually using me as either a security blanket or a piggy bank. Now, I told him, sorry man, I can't lend you money, I'm saving up. And then he said something that sealed my decision to block him. Well, I'm disappointed in you. As soon as I heard that, I got pissed. I didn't respond, and all I did was block him. I can't help but feel like maybe I was a bit too hasty, but it was driving me crazy because nearly all of our conversations were turning negative, and I'm finding myself getting more and more depressed just talking to him because he would only talk about the things in life that scared him or how his life sucked. It really is unfortunate when you have somebody that you would initially think, okay, cool, they're just getting something off their chest, but no, then it's constantly that, and that can honestly bring down your mood. So honestly, the best mood, or the best things you can really do for yourself is just distance yourself from that person, and if cutting off all ties from them improves your mental state, that might have to be the best move. Our next story is titled, Navy Neckbeard. So this actually just happened a few moments ago. I'm in the Navy, and we have a nice guy Neckbeard, and a possible incel aboard our ship. This dude is literally hated by everyone. Girls have felt uncomfortable around him, and has an ongoing SAPR investigation against him. Guys, especially in his division, want to punch him in the face. To my surprise, he actually has one of those hittable faces. Whenever he speaks, people roll their eyes, suck their teeth, or tell him to shut up before he really begins to talk, because most of what he says or asks is either stupid, argumentative, or nonsensical. He's the type that loves to hear himself talk and thinks he's the smartest guy in the room because he came into the military with a high ASVAB score, even going as far to give himself a nickname based off of it. He calls himself Agent 94 because the highest score you can get is a 99. The dude smells like sour sweat and unwashed feet. No, really, his breath smells like rotten plums. He has a bad foot odor, and even though his rate or job requires him to be mostly outside in the heat, he showers every other day because he's too tired. He was threatened with a shower watch, being forced to take a shower, and someone watching you bathe if he didn't start being hygienic. Even still, he talks like he's the man around town, because he thinks every girl wants him and guys are jealous of him. He listens to audiobooks on how to pick up girls, he talks about women like they owe him S just because he exists. He thinks if he encounters a girl and talks to her a few times, that she must be interested in him, so he'll start being a creep. He will try to sit with her, smell her hair, and other creepy things. He tried to holler at another girl who was in a relationship with another guy on board. Agent 94 says he doesn't care and that he could out-F the guy, whatever that means. The girl told her BF, who got furious and was on his way to fight him until I talked him out of it. Agent 94 acted like he could have taken him on, but I could tell he was spooked. Today was in the mess decks downloading and saving movies and anime that my wife sent me before we get underway. He He walks by and sees I'm downloading some classic anime like Outlaw Star, S-Cryed, and Yu Yu Hakusho. He then goes on a tirade about me not knowing good anime, and he can show me good ones. I ignore him. He then notices a folder titled Nasties and inquires about it. I tell him it isn't his business. He puts two and two together and blurts out loud that they are X-rated files. He then asks if I could share the files with him. I tell him no because they're of a specific person. He then says, "Your wife?" I say yes. I get up to get some water, which is only a few feet away. I know, my mistake. I turn around to find this man on my computer clicking on the folder. He then has the audacity to say slimy things about her and if he could get some of the pictures or videos. I lost my S and picked him up and slammed him against the bulkhead, Navy word for wall. I cursed him out, telling him everything wrong with him and his life. Other shipmates tried to pull me off of him, saying it wasn't worth it, but I was too upset. I decided to humiliate him by telling everyone what led to the situation. Still, they told me it isn't worth it messing up my career. I have a fantastic reputation and trying to become an officer. I let him go, and everyone present was dressing Agent 94 down. He scrambled out of there. Right now, I'm waiting for his supervisor, as well as an SAPR representative, to tell them about his behavior. Update. Sorry for the late update. This all happened during deployment, so internet wasn't the best. So in short, he got captain's mast. The long version. So before we pulled in, he harassed another girl by smacking her on the butt. He assumed that she was the type who threw it back to anyone on the ship. He did this in front of everyone. The girl in question was not, in fact. She smacked him across the face and told him she was reporting him. He got spooked and started crying and begging. A few nights later, at around 3 in the morning, we had an MOB, man overboard, because this guy didn't show up for his watch for over an hour and wasn't found anywhere. Everyone was accounted for except him, and we searched the ship as well as drive back with searchlights. Sometime later, the CO just decided to call it off. Moments later, this asshat shows up to his workstation like, "Hey, what's up?" Everyone looked at this dude and asked where he was. It turns up he was sleeping in one of the exhaust rooms where no sound other than the loud fans and engines were present. The CO was so angry he said, "Dress blues now." The CO was normally a very chill and soft-spoken friendly guy. The look on his face and the anger in his voice had me scared. This a-hole skipped DRB, Disciplinary Review Board. You'll get yelled at by the chief E7 to E9, and they decide whether or not they send you to XOI, and XOI, Executive Officer's Inquiry. You get yelled at by the XO, and your chain of command testifies on or against your behalf before the XO recommends your punishment to the CO or Captain's Mast, and went straight to Captain's Mast. The guy got half month's pay times 2, 60 days restriction, EMI, extra military instructions, had to stand watch longer or do other tedious things, reduction to inferior pay grade times 2, the guy went from E4 to E2, and a separation from the military. We are back in port now. The guy has been quiet and to himself. He complains about not being able to buy anything. You know, it's almost as if there would have been a simple solution to not have your pay grade cut. It's not being absolute dong to everybody on the ship. You know, it's just as simple as that. Apparently, it's a little difficult for this one dude though. But with that, that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and to see more videos like this in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and if you have not already, subscribe and turn on those notifications. And we're getting pretty close to 60,000 subscribers, so that would be a nice good old dopamine rush to see that happen. That would be just actually pretty darn good. But until next time, I hope you guys are having a great day, and bye-bye.